Hello, I'm Dunk Dinkle, and this is the Brave State of the Alliance address. The state of Brave is strong. All right, let's get going here before we get too far into the details. It is Pride Month. I got these cool cupcakes here. I especially like this cupcake. It says, "Be kind" on it. And so I thought that was pretty neat with my thing with the bees. So I'm going to have a bite of this cupcake. That's a lot of frosting. I don't like so much frosting. Cupcake's okay. All right. Getting to the news of what's actually going on in EVE. First and foremost, recently we just deployed our Keepstar. So thank you for everyone that showed up to anchor it. Huge fleet presence. We had a lot of friends willing to help us. That was wonderful. I appreciate that very much. At the same time, we anchored the SOTA and a Tatara in FTAC N. So we are building the rigs. We spent several $100 billion preparing that system, doing everything, getting the Keepstar, so all that in there. Now we're going to build the rigs to be able to have industry running in FTAC N. We intend to keep another industry system running in Q52. So just have some patience while we gather the salvage to build those rigs. In my Alliance chat, I made a mistake and mentioned if you wanted to donate salvage or you wanted to donate ISK, you could send it to Brave Post Boys. That kind of screws up with our moon mining tax calculations. So if you do want to make a donation, Brave Holdings, our Executor Corp, that's the place to put it. So thanks again. Let's not be in a rush moving stuff into the Keepstar. People have done a great job with the market. People have done a good job of reestablishing our standing fleet and doing all that kind of stuff. But we're not in a rush. We're not going anywhere from pure blind. Everything seems to be going pretty well. Okay, next big important thing to talk about is the CSM elections. The CSM elections start where you can vote on June 7th, just in a couple of days. Now, we will need your votes. We will need every single one of your capable voting accounts to vote. Now, the way the elections work, the number one vote is so important to making sure someone stays on the ballot long enough that they can get elected. So obviously, our candidate is Jinx. Jinx Dakar is going to be our number one candidate. I will be hounding you all week to vote for Jinx as your number one. Very close second of importance to us is Ithaca Hawk. Ithaca Hawk is a member of Volta. He's been hugely involved in the community, running tournaments, FCing, doing all kinds of stuff. A great candidate. So Jinx is going to be our number one candidate. I need you to vote number one for Jinx. Ithaca, our number two candidate. These are the two most important things you're going to vote for on the ballot when it comes up. We'll be reminding you on a daily basis to vote. So please, let's get it done early. We'll have a whole slate ready for you the day before the elections start. I can tell you the next three candidates that we have are all good people that I personally think would be really good on the CSM. So our number three is going to be Pando from Initiative. A good FC, makes a lot of content, understands the game very well. Definitely someone that CCP could rely on going forward in their design of how both nullsec interacts and lowsec combat interacts. The fourth person on our ballot is going to be Angry Mustache with Goon Swarm. Angry really has done a deep analysis of what's going on in the economy. He has a lot of good slides about what's going on in the economy, and I think it's critically important that he be a voice that CCP hears when trying to decide which way to take the economy. And then our fifth candidate is going to be Luke Aninan. I'm probably mispronouncing it, with Fraternity. Luke, definitely a well-known FC, has done a lot, understands a lot of the way the gameplay works, and I think a voice we want to get on the CSM and would add to a mix of point of view on the CSM. Now, the next five candidates that we'll put on the recommended slate, we'll be getting them out to you the day before the election starts. Our intent is to focus on candidates that we think would support both the wormhole gameplay and low-sec faction war gameplay. CCP needs to work on those, and we think we should use some of our energy to support the low-sec faction warfare and wormhole candidates that may not get as much attention from the big blocks as they could. So I need you to vote. Please do it. We'll be reminding you all the time to do it. It would be really great if we could have a huge turnout and make sure this happens for Jigs and Ithaca. Great. Shifting gears to a sadder note is in the last month, there's been a couple players who passed away. One of the players, Facial White from We Broke the Game, he was part of Brave Collective. His corp was in Brave Collective during the war. A great person, suffered a long time before he passed away. And even when he was suffering, he would lead fleets, come on comms, and a real inspiration to somebody who was not going to let the difficulties in life hold him back. So I will miss him, and I'm sad to see that he's gone. Another person that passed away, someone I didn't know as well, but definitely had an impact on the game, is UAX Death, who flew with Legion of Death and was the founder of that entire alliance over there. He just recently passed away. He definitely left his mark on the game, and we were all poor without him. So they are gone, but they are not forgotten. So I will raise a shot in their memory and to keep up the legacy of moving the game ahead. Okay. Shifting gears back to Brave. Brave United. We don't talk a lot about it in these SOTAs, but a really important part of our group. The Brave United Alliance oversees all of our industry corps, and they do a lot to mine, bring in things, and generally support Brave in a good way. And if you haven't noticed, their logo, the Alliance logo for Brave United, is still the default little starry thing in the game. So we need to get the Alliance logo submitted to CCP so they can include it in the game. So we have a decision to make. I'd like your input on it. Should we make a logo that's very similar to Brave Collective so they match, kind of? Or should we have a different logo for Brave United that's a little more unique to what they do? So I'll be looking for input. Let me know on Slack what your thoughts are. Love to hear from the Brave United people about what they're thinking about what a good Alliance logo would be. Okay, we'll move on to thank yous. A lot of thanks, I said in the Alliance chat, for people that helped out with the Keepstar anchor. Well, it had to happen one of these times where the recording stopped while I give the talk, and I have no idea that it has stopped. So that's what happened here. I finished up the whole talk after saying I wanted to give some thanks to people, and evidently it stopped recording. So I'm going to go through it again. You can see I've already had another bite of cupcake. I've drank another shot. So I will kind of go through what we were going to talk about. Those moments are lost in time. Okay, thanks. I want to go over what the Recon team has done. The Recon team, you don't hear a lot about them because what they do is fairly secret and undercover. They did a tremendous amount getting ready for the Keepstar, putting up tacticals, a lot of stuff that in case there was going to be a big fight, the FCs would have everything they need to do that. They do a tremendous amount for us all the time and looking into things that we need to do research on. You don't really know who they are because they're basically a very quiet team we have doing stuff, but we all are glad that they're here doing that kind of stuff for us. So thank you. Another thank you to the Poss Boys team. Besides arranging for the Keepstar anchor and all of the Fortizars and the Sinojammers that we had in place for the anchoring, also just the daily work of making sure everything is fueled. A lot of work went into after we had the Keepstar and FTAC-N, moving modules and entire structures and fuel into FTAC-N. Just a tremendous amount of work that goes all the time by Poss Boys. So again, thanks to them for their continued efforts in keeping everything running. Just keeping the liquid ozone fueled between QTAC 52 and FTAC-N is a lot of work with the amount of stuff we're pushing through there all the time. And the last person I want to thank is Ariande. Ari was the chief of staff on the leadership team, helped me tremendously as we rebuilt the leadership team after last summer. Definitely kept my ear to the ground about what was going on, helped me understand some of the situations people had concerns about. Just recently, last month, he decided to win EVE, has a lot going on in real life, and wanted to focus on that. And he took everything he had in Eve and he sold it and donated the proceeds, billions and billions, to Brave to help with things. Some of that money went into the preparation for the Keepstar. So I owe him a personal debt of gratitude for the huge effort he put in getting Brave on the path of rebuilding, and all of you do too. I know he checks in from time to time on Discord and Slack with us about what's going on, but for now, he's won Eve, but it was great to have him come back to us after the end of the war and really help us get going again. Moving on to recruitment. Obviously, we've turned the chapter a little bit into growth, and we have groups joining us. We have several corps joining into Brave United as industry corps to help support what's going on that side of the fence. We have other corps that are approaching us about joining Brave the Alliance. We seem to have walked the walk and carved out a path that people seem to like, and so we're going to have continued people joining Brave. Most of them don't really know our ways and our traditions and our jokes and all that kind of stuff, so I ask you to help them do that. So if you're new to Brave, feel free to speak up on comms and ask some questions if you don't understand what they're talking about, or on Slack if people are joking about something you don't understand and people should explain it to you. If you are old to Brave, if you would be great if you could help make sure that these people get their answers clearly. I know it's fun to answer in memes and one-word jokes, but it really doesn't help sometimes a new player. They don't understand what you're talking about. So try and be clear and helpful to people, whether they're new to the game of Eve itself or whether they're new to Brave and our way of doing things. Please be helpful with them. Give them time to talk in comms when they're talking about. Let's talk about the merch store. The store seems to be going pretty well. I haven't had any problems I've been made aware of, which is great. Today added a few more things like mouse pads and a backpack and another cup with the 7.0 ping logo on it. So I'll continue to add things if they're available through the system that we're using. I had to ask for a couple things that they don't provide. People want a flag that's black. They only have one that's in white. Someone has asked for thigh-high stockings. They do not have thigh-high stockings for us. But what you could really help with is getting me good artwork to use. So we need high-res vector art to use to have things done for either the embroidery or the printing. So if you have an idea of something you'd like done, or a corp logo that you would like where you have corp merchandise up there, please send it my way. I'd like to make it as dynamic as possible. So hopefully people are enjoying the swag, the merch that they've got in the mail so far. Okay, in the previous recording, this is when I ate one of the cupcakes that had Pride on it, and it tasted basically the same. I couldn't really tell a difference even though this one is vanilla and this one is chocolate. So that's, you missed that excitement. I don't really like the frosting so much. I don't like the buttercream frosting so much. And then I raised a shot. Thank you for being part of Brave and going on this great journey with us. And I said my very traditional, stay classy, have fun, and be brave.